Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Adventures in Arcane Space. Once again, I am your Dungeon Master, AuldDragon, and the players are...
Hi, I'm David Big Mac Shepherd. I play Braxon Miacc, who's a human fighter from an asteroid near Brow.
Hi everyone, I'm Misama, and I play Solas Ebha, who is Half-Elven Cleric Mage of Ogma.
Hey, I'm James. I play Ockar, human paladin from Brawl.
Hello, everyone. I'm Motor. I play Finnel'ar Mohani, a druid from Grey Space.
Hi, I'm Levalithana, an elven wild mage, and she still doesn't know where from.
Hey there, I'm Zakad. I play Lafdul Moonglade, a elven specialty priest of Erevan Illasir, an occasional thief when he finds the opportunity in front of him. His gimmick of being a Mischiefmaker is coming up with fun titles, and his current title is the Hallowed Heisel. No, that's wrong. House. No, Halcyonic Hoodwinker. And that's wrong.
It's the that's wrong that sets it off.
Go on. Try and pronounce that second word.
Halcyonic?
Oh,
Halcyonic.
for the love of God.
Halcyonic?
I know, it's
Hello,
almost...
Halcyonic Hoodwinker.
It's almost as if
Halcyonic
I
Hoodwinker.
speak for a living, and I'm not even claiming to be a good speaker, but speaking for a living does help a bit.
Yeah. When I was
Hallowed
preparing, I was fine.
Hallowed Halcyonic Hoodwinker.
Yeah.
I don't even speak for a living.
You also DM now.
And
I don't
speak
see-
English.
I don't DM voice games. I DM text games.
Oh. Oh, really?
I rarely, if ever, DM vocally.
Alright, so the current number of rerolls available to the players, and for those who want to gift one to any of the players or myself, it is 500 bits. Braxon has one, Finn has one, Ockar has one, Lafdul has two, Leva has one, Solas has two, and I, the Dungeon Master, have two. So we left off last week. The players had decided to take a little mini vacation, get their crew some shore leave, be able to purchase new personal and ship supplies, and take care of some other things that they wanted to do on the planet Ericol, visiting one of the elven nations there. And Finn and Lafdul had decided to head off into a forest about a half-day's flight away. And then once they got there, they headed into the woods about, I think it was about 4 hours away from the Elven Druid camp. Kind of like a mini village.
Quite far then. Then we both also split off further.
Yes. And we left off specifically with Lafdul being led off into the woods by a fairy.
Always ends well for most people.
Yeah, yeah.
Lafdul's got to go on faith here. The mercy of the pixies.
Just don't mess with their toadstools.
So before we pick up that thread, I wanted to see what everyone else was planning to do in town. I know that there was some talk about doing some potential shopping, doing some talking with merchants, wizards, that kind of thing. So did anyone have anything in particular that they thought of that they wanted to do? Because you're planning to be here 2 weeks, or was it 1 week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Well,
Solas and Leva went to visit a mage to trade spells.
we exchange spells, and the wizard is interested in named spells and will maybe trade us spells from the PHB.
Yeah.
Same level.
Yeah, I mean you can get like multiple lower level spells for one higher level name spell, but it takes time to learn these. It's not just like glance at the book. So Like you
Can-
would go there with your spell book, and it would be a fair amount of time studying these materials while he is studying yours and stuff like that.
Would he be interested in trading multiple lower level spells to one higher level spell in that I get the higher level spell?
Less likely, but again, it's I mean, it's subject to negotiation, so.
Depends how good that low level spell is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some really good low level spells for wizards.
Well, I do have a number of named spells.
So,
Also
well,
collect
I mean, the
several
first thing is,
books.
what do you want, and what do you
I
have to offer?
I would be interested in a 5th level spell, Seeming.
Oh, good spell. I like that.
All right, let me see if he has that.
What's the spell level potential for this wizard?
I think I said 5th.
Yeah, you said 5th.
There aren't that many higher level spellcasters. There will come a point where you will basically have to go out and find or research any higher level spells, just because there aren't enough spellcasters around who have those levels of spells.
Or negotiate a ransom for those spells from the one wizard that does have them.
I mean, you do have scrolls that have some of those higher level spells on them, so,
Got normal like time stop on. I imagine some wizards would pay a ransom for that.
Yes, he does have a spell Seeming available.
You lucky son.
I would be willing to trade for that spell.
Okay, what do you have to trade?
Since I got from Leva the 5th level a better identification, I will leave that for Leva to trade away. But would he be willing to trade it for 2 3rd level spells, Leomund's Tiny Hut and Melf's Minute Meteors?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He'll agree to that trade.
Yeah, well, I'll do that trade.
Okay, so go ahead and roll to learn that spell.
That's under the score I need, so I learn it.
All right. And then roll for the number of pages.
Max.
So mean. Wow.
It was D6 plus
Spell level, I believe.
spell level -1.
Correct. Yeah.
6 pages.
All right. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
And Leva.
Yes. Leva wants to know whether he has what's it called? Just a second. Summon Shadow.
Summon Shadow. That is.
Is that shadow magic or is that?
I mean, it's. I think it's necromancy.
It's conjuration, summoning, necromancy.
Yeah.
No, it's conjuration and necromancy.
Yeah, because you were summoning an actual undead shadow. No, he is not going to have that.
It doesn't say about undead. It says conjures up one shadow.
See the Monstrous Compendium Tome, meaning that it's a shadow monster, which is an undead creature.
Oh, that would be really something for Solas, wouldn't it?
No. Solas doesn't summon undead.
I think that's the case for Paladin Fury.
No. In that case, she wants to know whether he's got Wall of Force.
Yes, he has Wall of Force.
And she'd like to trade, but has superior identifications.
He would be interested in that one for sure.
Okay. What's the first one? It's a one D100, isn't it?
You had to get under your score. You have a
See?
reroll?
I didn't announce that I want to
Yeah.
reroll, did I?
Nope.
And somebody just opened their mouth and said something, didn't they?
Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
Doesn't always need to be you. Somebody just spoke into it. It's this concentration destruction thing that happens. See if I could cast strength on you again, she says. To
I wasn't
solve.
even there.
What was your intelligence?
18.
18.
Why?
18. That's just success. One below the score.
Except she has a penalty to non-wild magic spells.
Yes.
-5.
So that
well,
is
that's it.
too high. You can try again when you gain another level, however. But that is contingent on gaining a level, so.
Here's a random question.
Mhm.
Could she learn the spell by using her wand as if it was a replacement for a spell scroll by using a charge?
No. No.
Right.
And the reason is because number one, with this scroll, you have elements of how the magic works there.
Some of the details of the methods of how it works are listed in the scroll, so you know how to invoke it.
Yeah, and then you actually see it get cast with the scroll. The wand just makes it appear. There is no difference in seeing a wand generate a wall of force versus a creature that can naturally create a wall of force and another spellcaster create a wall of force. Like, none of those things give you a benefit on researching.
Because with one, it doesn't matter how you wave it, as long as you use the command word and the charges, you get it to work.
Yeah.
Here's a hypothetical. How did Finn learn Hibernate? Because he had it from the spell thing that Leva has. He just saw her cast it several times.
You mean tracking?
Sorry, tracking.
So again, that book counts as scrolls, but in that particular case, you're basically petitioning your deity, being like, "Hey, I know of the spell. Can I get it?"
Yeah.
So,
because I got a scroll of continual fairy fire, and I was gonna. This is something that I am gonna do at some point. I'll see how it plays out, but I'm going to. If I meet Finn with all the other druids, I'm going to speak about the spell, and I'm going to either offer it to them to see if any of them can learn it, or whatever. I mean, I figured if there's enough druids there, one of them might learn it. I mean, I want the spell, but I can't have it, so it's like, if you're not going to learn it, so it's kind of like, well, hope you get lucky, basically. I don't know.
Well, Leva has another one that she would like to try.
well, unfortunately, like you did the trade, you just failed
Yes.
to learn the spell.
All right.
He may have failed to learn some of these spells too, but I'm not rolling because there's no point. If he fails to learn, that's fine. Because in all cases, now you're aware of the spell and you can do spell research for it.
Okay. But, I mean, she has a level 4 spell that she would like to exchange.
Okay.
She has Tensor's Giant Strength. Would he be interested in that?
Yeah, sure.
And does he have a rainbow pattern?
Let me see.
That sounds fun. What school is that in?
I think illusion phantasm.
Alteration, illusion.
Alteration as well. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, he'll have that one.
He does?
Yep.
Is he interested in 10 giant strength?
Yeah.
It has a name on it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody shut up.
Me.
It just works, doesn't it?
What did you
I
need?
think it was-
75?
Yes.
Then there you go.
Oof. Phew, she says.
Is it- So it's 10% penalty for.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was 5. Sorry.
No, it's 10.
All right, then number of pages.
Just a moment. What was it? Jesus. D6 minus.
-1 plus the spell level.
-1 plus the spell level?
Yeah, so spell level -1.
Okay, yes. -3. What?
No, plus the spell level. So that's going to be 6.
Oh, I'll take the 0. Can I?
Nope. So basically, what that is that like for a first level spell, it's no. You can take the 6. You rolled a 3. You don't need to take the 9. You didn't need to roll again. You had the die
Alright.
number. You just changed the modifier.
6.
Yeah.
In that case, 6. All right.
The reason for that is to make it so that like the minimum number of pages needed for a spell is always its spell level.
Mm-hmm.
So like the minimum number of pages needed for a first level spell is 1 page. Minimum number of pages needed for a 9th level spell is always 9.
Okay. So, Solas, do you have any more? I think.
Yeah, I think I will be interested in learning a Stinking Cloud.
All right, what do you have? Trade.
Would he be interested in Melf's Acid Arrow or Aganasar's Scorcher? Both are 2nd level spells.
Either one, but only one.
Okay.
I mean, because they're both 2nd level.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and roll. And this is taking like days for you guys to do all this
Yeah.
because he also needs
Yeah.
time to study your books and stuff.
Yeah, that's under.
All right.
Score.
There you go. All right, 3
Is
pages.
this-
Yeah,
Mhm.
3
Yes, Lafdul?
pages.
No, I should be there to say this, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Hmm?
That's fine. All right. Any other spells? He'll probably be willing to do one more
Oh, okay.
spell.
Would he be interested in Mage? Iron Sack?
Sure.
Does he have Phantom Steed?
Yes.
Everybody shut up. And I take a reroll.
You gonna use a reroll? All right.
What is it? I go one by one. Oops. Jeez.
Heat's getting to you.
Yes, definitely. I'm just looking at this comment.
All right.
So,
that will work. You did use a reroll, but you don't have to make the actually roll again because that was a success. But Dracophile has just given you another reroll anyway, so there you go. Back up to 1.
thank you. Just a moment. I have to enter this first. Steed, Phantom Steed. Okay. Pages. It's level 3.
There you go. Very nice.
Nice. Thank you.
I have to say, I did get quite a lot of more options with those two spells.
Yeah. No, I mean there's good stuff in there.
Yeah, that seeming is especially good since I can
Oh, it's
basically
incredibly useful.
disguise multiple people with it.
Can you do that when they're actually riding on a phantom steed?
They have to be specific distance away from me, if I remember correctly.
But I think after that they may be able to move.
Yeah, they can move after that, but the range is 10 feet radius.
So it's basically just, all right, everyone, gather round. I'm going to change all of your appearances.
Yeah, I can change one person per 2 levels of experience, and the duration is 12 hours.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a very good disguise spell, mass disguise
Mhm.
spell. All
Of
right.
course, the negative side of it is that it can be disbelieved.
All right. That wizard will also make an inquiry if you have any strange or unusual magic items that you're interested in getting rid of. He's interested in trading for some. I'm not going to give you a list of what he has available. You tell me, does he have a Ring of Protection +1 available? Does he have a Wand of Fire available? That kind of thing, if you want anything. But we can also wait until a little bit later because Lafdul and Finn are away and they might want in on this.
There's something I wanted to do.
Sure.
I wanted.
I'm getting some static from you.
That's probably my fan. How's that? If I turn. Does that sound better?
It sounds like static because it only happens when you talk.
Is it still there?
Nope, it's gone now.
Yeah, it's the fan that was behind my head.
Oh, okay.
So what I want to do is Is there like an armor smith
Oh, absolutely.
in town?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to take one of the brulee shells.
Mhm.
And try to get like an estimate of how long it would take to get that converted into a shield.
Okay. So he will. The smith will take a look at this shield and examine it, and tell you that he can have it prepared in a week.
Okay, so I'm gonna give him 2 of the armor plates and commission that for 2 shields to be made.
Okay. And you have different sizes, I believe.
You didn't tell me the sizes. You only said 4 could be used for.
Did I not? Hold on.
I think there
believe
were.
You told me
Oh,
different-
no. Right. No, I'm mixing it up with the Ankeg carapaces.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. No. Okay. So at that point, you can get any size shield you want, except for large shield.
I guess I'll get 2 medium shields made.
Okay.
What would be the price on that?
That is going to be. Let me take a quick look. While I'm looking that up, is there anything that anyone else wanted to do?
Yes, there is one thing that Solas is extremely keen on doing.
Mm-hmm.
Solas is going to be making sure he's most presentable that he can, and then he is going to be going to visit or try to visit the Royal Palace to petition in gaining access for their library.
Okay.
Basically, he is going to go there and tell them that he is a cleric of a god of wisdom, and he is seeking to do his holy duty and visit libraries to gain new access to knowledge and share his knowledge if possible.
All right. So you will
And of course,
be speaking primarily with some low-level clerks and stuff like that.
yeah, and he is willing to also make a donation for the library.
Okay.
Unfortunately, since he doesn't have that many books that he can give his talking monetary donation for new books.
Okay. Let's see. Do.
And also he's promising to ask his God's blessing for the library.
Okay. So let me come back to that in just a second. All right. So Ockar, that will be 250 gold pieces for each shield.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
So that's 500.
500 total. Because it's a very
Okay.
special material and stuff like that.
Are there any properties to do that?
Hmm?
Shield plates.
They
properties
will
to-
they will take enchantments a lot better.
Alright.
Which, once we're done here, I plan to get those enchanted later.
Are they also lighter in weight?
That I'll need to look up. They probably would be, but I'll need to double check that.
Once they're
I don't-
cured,
I
probably.
don't need to get them immediately enchanted, do I?
No.
As long as you keep them in good condition.
Yeah, I'll do that. One of them I plan to gift to our druid, and the other one I plan to keep for myself.
All right.
I will eventually get enchanted.
Okay.
Because it isn't a steel armor, so I imagine he can use it.
Yeah, most shields aren't solid metal anyway. So Finn doesn't
It's just-
usually have much problem with shields, but I mean it's still a gift.
And it's made of natural material
Mhm.
entirely.
Well,
So I figured he'd appreciate it.
I mean, this is going to be banded in metal and stuff like that. I mean,
Oh, true.
and there's going to be metal parts on it. It's just that, like, they don't. If you had a buckler can be made out of solid steel, but a small shield and a medium shield cannot be. Like, that's just too heavy. It would be virtually impossible to use. Like, they would not have been if it was so thin that you could carry it, it wouldn't give you any real protection. So that's why most shields are made out of wood, wicker, leather stretched over wicker, stuff like that. So, or even just
Fair
leather
enough.
itself. So, and this would still be banded in metal to keep it from
Reinforce
splitting
it.
and stuff. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But all of that's okay for druids to use. But again, they take enchantments better. So.
Yeah.
All right, so Solas, you head
Mhm.
to the royal palace and ask about getting access to the royal library.
Yes.
They are initially reluctant, but upon a mention of a donation, they are a bit more receptive. What is your charisma reaction
13.
adjustment?
Reaction adjustment is +1.
Okay. And go ahead and give me a charisma check, please.
I'm going to be using reroll for this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good thing I used it.
Okay.
Both ends of the spectrum there.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. And let's see.
Is it the row where you need to be closer to your score, the better? Yeah.
Under is
It
always
would be
good.
for opposed.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm ever gonna take into account like specific, like how close you are, like how much you succeed by or something like that, this was just a check to see whether they were going to be friendly or indifferent. So They are going to be friendly, and
I would have told. I'm not trying to nickel and dime it, but it's sort of am. Because I cast no customs, I would have told people general customs, and that gives people a +1 to their reaction adjustment.
can you tell people
'Cause-
the customs, or does that?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, because
I don't.
like it gives you an
You're
intimate, like
aware of them.
essentially an intimate automatic knowledge of it, and I don't know if you can just tell other people to convey that +1.
Common courtesies, local restrictions, important festivals, passwords. It's just generalized information that's useful that a person would know. It doesn't say that it's
Right, but
either
I
or.
think it's for you and you alone, kind of thing. Because it gives you an intimate knowledge. Like the reason why you're getting the +1 is because it gives you all of this knowledge right at your fingertips, right when you need it, and you can't just convey that to other people.
All right, that's good to know for the future.
Yeah. I mean, again, you can share some things, and in very specific situations, that will definitely apply. It won't give a +1 bonus, but it will apply in a situation of like, just hypothetically, if you're only supposed to shake with your right hand and not your left, kind of thing. That you can share, and then no one is going to make that faux pas. It's not going to give a +1, but it's not going to, mess people up and stuff like that. But the reason you get the +1 is because you have an intimate knowledge of it, essentially, and it's right at your fingertips. You always know right away, kind of thing.
Okay.
All right. So Solas, the clerks are willing to grant you a day of access for a suitable donation. What are you willing to donate?
Well, in this case, like I said, since I don't have books to donate, I'm donating money for them to buy new books.
Okay.
And writing materials and such.
All right. How much?
I'm going to be donating 500.
Okay. They will give you access to the library for a day.
Since that was what I was planning on donating to them from the start.
All right. So
actually, I have
the books are not magical in nature, but there are histories and stuff like that. There are way more books than you can possibly get through by any stretch in that one day. But you would certainly be able to scan a lot of titles and purchase
and I
some
did bring
books.
my lenses of speed reading.
Yep. And you can always there are booksellers. You can purchase some books if you want. So.
Yeah, and like I said, this is mostly for my holy duty.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be checking the quality of the library, and if there's any interesting knowledge, I will study it like that, something that I haven't come across with the other libraries.
Okay.
And before I leave, I also will give a prayer to Ogma to protect the library and tell them my thanks and that Ogma very much appreciates the library.
Okay. They do double check to make sure that you're not stealing a book, but that is all. So you pick up some history of the planet, some legends, myths. There's a book with recorded songs and poems.
I do check if there's ask the clerics if they have a book about the myth of the Constellate, the Wounded Warrior.
There are a couple books that have some details about various legends relating to that, both from the Elven culture and from some of the other cultures.
Yeah, I will check them out of interest.
Mhm.
And like I said, once I'm done with the library, I will thank the clerics and say a prayer to Ogma for the library's protection and the protection of the librarians.
Okay. So what you pick up about the Wounded Warrior is that across the multiple legends that you read, they're all disconnected from each other. They're not like connected in any way. And some cultures have multiple stories that and then the gods placed them in the sky, kind of thing. At the end. So like even the elves have two different versions. But in every case, it's like an individual makes a noble sacrifice to save others.
Yeah.
Putting themselves in harm's way, holding a door or a bridge alone against overwhelming odds, that kind of thing. But all of the details are completely different beyond those overarching similarities. All right.
I will make some notes of this knowledge in my own notebooks. Out of interest in how different cultures can and different religions can basically create these similar myths from this.
Yeah. And you can also make notes if you want to try to find some copies of some of these books in booksellers too.
Yeah, I will definitely plan on picking few of the local history books and books that tell about this sphere to bring with me to the seekers.
Okay. All right. I mean, once you get connected, if this sphere does have a stable route back to known space, the seekers will just be like, there's a new sphere. All right, guys, we're going, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, of course, but this can give them some knowledge before they get here.
Sure.
And of course, I'm going to be reporting the way we took back.
Yeah. All right. Braxon, did you have anything that you wanted to do?
I was trying to look through my old stuff, see if I got something, because I thought I had that ring to give to Nor, but that got lost. So I'm wondering if I could trade that spear for something that would be useful for him. But I'd also like to get something useful for our Elven spellcaster, because I don't think she's had anything.
Didn't she get a staff? Well, not too long ago, but
I believe she did. Yeah.
So it's just Norn that needs something.
Nor's the one who hasn't had something the most recently.
Yeah. All right. I suppose Braxon could just take Nor shopping.
Wizard shopping, that's going to be cheap.
I mean,
date with Braxon.
Like they do their own shopping. If you wanted to find something gifted to them, you can do so.
Yeah, I'll see if that Spear of Darkness doesn't sound like a very nice thing. I'll see if I can find anything to trade that for, like something protective or a dagger or something.
I mean, if you want to ask around the wizards to see if anyone has a spare ring of protection.
Yeah.
You could definitely
I'll
do
try
that.
for that. I'll try for that.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretty easily trade that spear for a ring of protection +1. I mean, you're getting the very much the bad end of the deal on that, but that would be up to you.
Yeah, because it sounded like it was doing evil stuff. So I'll do that then.
Okay. All right, so
And
you find a wizard willing to trade a ring of protection +1 for that spear.
Yeah.
Okay.
What spear are you trading?
The Spear of Darkness.
Oh. Can't remember what it does.
It does something called Innovating. Gives people
Oh,
negative energy and stuff.
Negative levels temporarily.
Okay. So you trade that away for a ring of protection. You're going to give that to Nor.
Yeah, I'm going to give that to Nor.
Okay.
So I was going to give him my own one. And sorry, my brain's a bit slow today. The harpoon. Will that launch out the ballistas, or does that have to be thrown? The harpoon +2.
It has to be thrown.
Right.
I would think that the harpoon would be too small for ballistas to fire accurately.
Yeah, I'm just checking. Because it might have been. Okay. Braxon wants to get some rope for that.
I mean,
Out of
you got plenty of
curiosity.
rope on your ship.
Oh,
And
okay.
you have magic rope.
I'm not tying the magic rope to it.
And you might want
You
something
will lose it.
longer. You might want something longer than 50 feet anyway.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted to put a long rope on it so that if scavers come or something, Braxon can chuck that at the scavers and then try and drag them in.
All right.
Which,
I mean, if you want to specifically say that you're buying a rope specifically for that, and then it's always going to be tied, then that's fine too.
Yeah. That's what I want to do.
Okay. That will just be whatever the price is of rope in the book. I think it's done in 50-foot increments. So decide how long you want it, and just pay that price.
I'll look that up then.
Okay.
Those javelins. Were they in a bag or anything? Otherwise, Braxton might get like a bag or something for them.
They are in a essentially a large sheath. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I don't need anything for them then. I guess it would just be looking for stuff for the ship, extra food and all that sort of thing. We need some more wood.
Yeah, anything. They have standard prices for it, so for anything that you want to supply your ship with.
Yeah.
Just decide how much you want, how much, make sure you have enough space for it, and deduct the prices. Oh, also I should have mentioned, in the trip to the planet, another pay period passed. I wasn't looking at that information at the time, so I forgot.
Okay.
Solas would be buying the materials for making a new spell book.
Okay. Did I give you that information?
I think since I have the paper making and bookbinding, it was about half price of normal spell book to make it myself.
Yeah. Which is 100 gold pieces per page, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So while you guys are back in the city, making your purchases, getting some relaxation time and stuff like that, Finn, you are out in the woods. Lafdul has wandered off.
I'm sure he won't get into too much trouble.
Fine.
Do we agree to meet back in a few days, or come back every day, or what? Or are we just camping solo, or what?
I don't think you talked about that.
No, that's why I was like, we should probably...
I know.
Would have...
I don't know that you did, though.
I thought we talked
like
about...
a common
No,
sense
we did.
thing.
We did.
No. This is Lafdul and Finn, though.
Oh, right. Okay. We talked about that for the crew, didn't we?
I mean,
Yeah.
I've got camping supplies to survive out on my own, and I'm sure he'll be
Well-
fine. But it's the fact that we didn't agree to come back or something.
Well, you're
Or
part
meet
of the
up.
crew too.
Right, and he's not talking about coming back to the ship. He's talking about, like, a ferry has just led him off, and he's asking about whether he and Finn agreed to return to their campsite or something like that. I don't think you guys did.
And whether or not we'll... Well, I know Finn will certainly be able to find his way back. It's me a little bit harder. I'd have to use magic, probably, if I can figure myself out, naturally.
Well, for now,
I've been lost to the fairies.
you've just, yeah. Finn, you are, let's see, I don't know how long it would take to get the sap to fill up. How much do you actually need?
I don't have an actual quantity on there.
Okay. This is in the Druid's Handbook, right?
Well, you gave me the ingredients.
Oh, right. Oh, right. All right, let me look. Hold on. That's not what I want. All right, I'll say that it takes 2 days per tap to get enough. How's that? Does that seem
Okay, that works.
all right? Yeah.
It was 75% that both of them reduced it by.
All right,
Now
well,
that I look.
we'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
All right, so Finn, you set those up, and Lafdul has wandered off. What are you going to be doing while you're waiting for the tap buckets to fill?
I think I'm actually going to cast Commune with Nature.
Okay. Also, I'm okay if you want to deduct some money for some flasks to put that in afterwards. I think it's reasonable that you would have thought of that.
Okay.
And I'll let you decide how many you actually want. All right. Commune with Nature. Go look that up.
Specifically trying to locate treants.
Looking for Treebeard.
Where is that spell in my list?
Nah, he's looking for a tree mustache.
Okay. Okay, so you can get your 9th level, right? So that's 9 facts.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So within 4.5 miles. Okay. All right. So you learn that the area is generally healthy as well.
As I would expect with a bunch of druids nearby.
Yeah, but you are also 4 hours away, so they may not like. And they're like landing here. You realize that this was a very big forest, a very large forest, and the terrain in many places was very rough. And there weren't a huge number of druids, so it is probably the kind of thing where there are places here that it probably is a couple years between druids visiting. That doesn't feel out of the ordinary or weird or anything. That's just, what you would have picked up.
Yep.
All right. let's see. All right, there are some treants, and you'll have a general direction that you can go in. Anything else that you want to know?
Well, now that I know that they're there and the general direction, if there's any natural terrain elements that might be in my way of getting there, so I can plan my route.
There is a stream. There is a bit of a rocky patch that you'll need to cross over, but otherwise it's just forest and underbrush and things like that.
Okay. And just as a general check, any powerful unnatural creatures in the area?
No, but upon kind of searching for that sort of thing, you do detect a bit of blight. Something. It doesn't feel unnatural per se, but it's definitely unhealthy. And that's further down the slope. So not in the. It's like 80 to 100 degree direction change from where the druids are. I mean, not the druids, the treants are.
Okay.
So kind of perpendicular.
Okay. Well, while I'm waiting for the taps, I guess I'll go visit some treants.
Okay. All right. So you set out, and you do find the stream after a couple hours. Well, actually, it's within 4.5 miles, so that wouldn't be a couple hours. Within about a half an hour, you cross over the stream. It is pretty steep, so it is a fast-flowing stream, probably coming from the mountains further up slope, and like they're all snow-capped and everything like that. So it is very cold, and it is very slippery. There's a lot of moss as well, so you have to be very, very careful as you cross. Go ahead and give me a dexterity check.
Oh, my specialty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. No. Yeah. All right. So
Well, it tried to be a 3.
tried to, and then the game, and then Roll20 was like, nah. So you do slip. You bruise yourself a bit, and you're soaked through basically up to your waist as you pick yourself out and get to the other side. Luckily, it's not cold. So you are not in too much danger of like anything like that. You just got a little bit of an uncomfortable walk. But at the same time, you're a druid, kind of used to that kind of thing. This is like yeah. Well, things happen.
Nature's bath.
That's nature for you, kind of thing. And a little bit further on, you do find the rough, rocky area, and it turns out that is a good 15-foot high, almost vertical wall of stone in front of you. And its nature is that it's curving and kind of creating like the outer edge of a bowl shape in front of you. Not too difficult to climb up. It's not perfectly sheer by any means, and it's only about 15 feet. Unless you want to do something else to get yourself up.
I think I'll just change into a bird.
Okay. All right, you change into a bird and fly up over it, and it is indeed kind of a lip of a circular depression, and there are some very dense woods within there. The trees are actually smaller in this area than around it, probably because of this thick stone wall kind of thing popping up. And you do get the telltale sense that there is something special about this area. And then you notice that one of the trees moves slightly not in the breeze, and you realize that this is probably a grove of trees tended by some treants.
Yeah, excellent. So I will approach, but stop a respectful distance away, and call out to them in their own language.
All right. One of the trees does shift around, and you realize that that is a treant, and it slowly walks towards you. Its leaves shaking as it does so, making a very pleasant sound. And it says, welcome. You are new to this area. I do not recognize you. What is your name?
I am known as Finn amongst the humans.
Humans. Not familiar with you, your kind. You have no wings like most of the elves. Are you similar?
I can give myself wings at certain times.
But you are not an elf.
Indeed.
Welcome to our grove. I sense within you nature's gifts. I am a Greenbark.
I thank you for your welcome, Greenbark.
You have sought us out. Is there something you wish to know?
I seek an elder of your kind.
Elders are quite rare. Many of them take root. What do you wish from an elder?
I wish to offer my service as a tender of nature in exchange for a few of his leaves, so that I can use them in creating a potion to extend the life of myself and my friends.
I can speak with an elder on your behalf, but should you wish to offer your services, there is something that you could do.
Please,
I
tell
cannot
me.
guarantee that doing such a task will get you an audience with an elder, but it is worth a shot, I suppose, as the elves sometimes say.
I would be happy to be of service to nature.
We have heard
I can't help but imagine both of them talking extremely slowly.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fully expecting this conversation is taking a good 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, there might be a lot more words involved in it. The treant points in a general direction, and you realize that that's the direction that you sensed some blight in. And he says, about a short walk for us in that direction. We have detected that there is a problem with some of the trees. The elven druids are often capable of taking care of it, but it has only recently appeared, and while they do come by quite frequently, on the order of a year or two, they have been by recently themselves, but before the blight was detected. If you would be so good as to visit the area and see what is wrong, we would appreciate it.
I would be happy to.
So it gives you some other details on how far it is and stuff like that. They haven't themselves been down to check it out. They just kind of like heard it through the grapevine.
Pun intended.
And you have some more pleasantries and talk a little bit more, and by this point the sun is definitely setting. So you could either make your way to the blight area, or you can make your way back to camp and set out at first light. You would realize that from the way that the treant was speaking about the elves coming by frequently, when you realize that that's probably like, on the matter of a year or two.
Time is a little different for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I would probably go back to camp for the night, since it would be harder to see and do things about the blight in the dark.
Okay. All right. So you return to camp. You spend a little bit longer at the stream and find an easier crossing point. So you won't need to make a dexterity check further to get back and forth. And settle in for the night. You notice that Lafdul has not been back to camp yet.
Well, I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Then again, it is Lafdul.
Does Lafdul even know what he's doing half the time?
But,
I don't know.
Latzel's
I don't-
being introduced to the wonders of mushrooms and pixie dust.
Try this.
Finn,
If
yep.
I have to go looking for him, I'm sure he can take care of himself for at least a couple more days.
All right. So the next morning you awake. Lafdul has still not been back, and you can set out downslope towards where you detected the potential blight.
Yep, let me go see what's going on there.
Okay. You want to change up your spells in any way before you do that, or are you pretty happy with what you got?
I might want to change a few of them. Definitely want to rememorize the ones I've cast.
I'm getting very dubious the fact that I've not come back, so what's old planning for me?
Lafdul cannot be happy that there's no video cameras and the internet and the YouTube around.
No, Aravan's just going to retell everything I do to everyone in the afterlife when I eventually go there.
Instead of the commune with nature, I'm going to memorize an insect plague, actually.
Okay.
Because I have an idea.
All right.
And a plant growth spell or two would probably be worth it.
Okay.
Can't remember what level that is. So
There are plenty of, well,
third level. Okay. So yeah, I'll probably spend about 2 hours rearranging spells.
Okay. It'll still be fairly early when you set off anyway. You'd probably stop by and check on your taps as well, and their you can collect them either tonight or in the next morning, kind of thing, and you'll get the amount.
Okay.
Or this will be the session where he becomes a Lorax, the one that speaks trees.
He already did speak to a tree. Treant.
Oh, true. 2 speak 4.
Oh yeah. Well, he'd have some competition with the treants in that case. All right, so you head down the slope through the forest, and you make it to what you're pretty sure was about the edge of your commune with nature distance, going in that the direction that you detected, and you get to a grove of these tall trees And there's one that's fallen over. So it has taken left a massive hole in the canopy because of this. And there's a number of others that don't look particularly healthy either. Wilted leaves, leaves that are heavily eaten by insects, and just generally unhealthy. There's definitely a lot more insects around here as well.
Interesting. I will observe and see if I can determine the nature of the insects.
There's a lot of flying insects. You'd guess that they're possibly breeding in the fallen tree. And there's also a lot of crawling insects as well, covering the nearby trees and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
To get more information, you might have to actually poke around rather than just observe.
Yeah, I will do so.
Okay. What do you want to start looking at first?
I want to try to catch one of the insects so I can study it and see what it is.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a dexterity check.
Oh, my specialty.
Mm-hmm.
That one worked.
Hey, nice. All right. And I'll say that you try to catch a few different ones of the flying ones. They don't seem unusual. I mean, they're not quite the what you're used to, but they don't seem different from what you saw upslope. There's just more of them. So they definitely appear to be types that are feeding on detritus and breed in detritus, so the fallen tree is probably just an absolute breeding ground for these things.
Okay. And I can tell that they're damaging the other trees as well?
The flying ones don't seem to be. Give me an intelligence check, please. All right, one of the ones that you caught, you realize is actually specifically feeds on fungus.
Mm-hmm. So I will check the living trees for any kind of fungal growth.
Okay. Many of them do have fungal growths that are normal. But then you notice that there are, especially closest to where the one tree has fallen, some unusual fungal types, and it's the same thing across these trees. And then you notice that the fallen tree has the same growths. There might be some sort of parasitic fungus growing in this area.
Uh-huh. I guess I did choose the right spell then. I will cast an insect plague.
Okay. Does that let you choose the insect specifically?
Horde of creeping, hopping, and flying insects gather and swarm in a thick cloud.
Okay,
Looks
so
like
I think
I
it's
just kind of summon everything.
Yeah. All right.
And I will put them to the task of eating as much of that fungus as possible.
Okay. So you do so, and a lot of the crawling insects will be a type that does so. And they do a good job of taking care of the visible fungal growths, but you also realize that there's always an underground element to these things.
There is that.
Or in the case with the trees, under the wood and everything like that.
Hmm.
Whether it reaches down into the ground, you're not sure.
Does this grove stand alone? Or does it connect to other parts of the forest?
It's all part of the same forest, but the tree types are slightly different here. So it is like a stand of a different species of tree from around you. You've seen these trees elsewhere, but this is definitely a place where this particular species of tree is clustered.
So odds of me building a fire that could take this out but leave the rest of the forest is probably pretty slim.
Yeah, especially considering that these trees are a couple 100 feet tall as well.
Yep. Well, I will direct the insects while I still have control of them, because I get 2 rounds per level, so that's 18 rounds, to burrow and get as much of the fungus as possible.
Okay. All right. You definitely after those the spell expires, you definitely realize that you've delayed any further damage, but you have not taken care of it. Like you've probably given it like months before it gets as bad as it has been.
Okay. Then I will cast Plant Growth, the 1 mile square area version,
Okay.
to render the trees more vigorous, fruitful, and hardy.
All right. What level spell is that?
That's a 3rd level.
Okay.
And it says that the DM secretly makes a saving throw based on the caster's level to see if the spell takes effect.
All right. What is your saving throw versus spell?
My save versus spell is 12.
Okay. All right. Give me an intelligence and wisdom check.
Okay. Intelligence will be the first one. I believe that is a pass on both counts.
Okay.
Yep. Intelligence was exact and wisdom was well within.
Yeah. All right. So you cast the spell and then set about studying to try and see if you had an effect. And you think that the fungal growths are preventing the full effect of that spell from being felt.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, at least I know what it is and I've delayed it for now. I think I will return to the trance.
Okay. If you want, you could like come back another day and try something else if you want to give it some more time to percolate.
Yes, that was part of it. And the other part is I want to talk with them and see if they have any ideas of things I could do.
Okay. All right. So you head. It's probably about early afternoon by the time you get to them, and Greenbark turns to you as you approach and greet, and he says, welcome back, human forest friend. What have you discovered?
So I will tell him about the fungus I discovered and that I had some insects eat as much of it as they could to delay it, but it's not getting rid of it.
Yes, we have not seen this in many, many a year. The last time such a fungus was seen in a distant part of the forest, it was not truly resolved until a forest fire tore through the area. Obviously,
I
that
was
is
afraid of that.
not the preferable result here, but perhaps it could give you an idea on how to take care of the problem. We do know that it is, the main source of it is underground.
So I either need to choke it out for its food, or I need to burn it away. But without setting the rest of the forest on fire.
Mhm.
Okay. I will think on that.
Okay. All right.
And other than that, I'm gonna head back to camp for the night and collect my sap.
All right, you get back, and it's dark by that point, but I mean, you could like create some light, torch, or set up a little campfire near where you need to gather the sap, just so you make sure that you get it all and everything like that.
Mhm.
And you bottle up the sap that you have gotten so far.
Would I be able to get enough to get 4 uses out of it?
Did you have 2 taps, or did you have more than 2 taps?
I think I had 2 taps that I set out.
Yeah, I think you'd get 1 usage each.
Okay. Just mark that I have that. All right, and see if there's any signs of Lafdul having been around.
And nope.
Okay. Well, I hope he's having fun, whatever he's doing.
All right.
Let it dance, let it dance.
So you having collected up your sap, you head to sleep.
Yep.
Lafdul.
Hmm.
So you've headed off into the forest following this fairy. It is saying, "Come along, let's have some fun. Come along."
Coming along as best I can.
So you had you changed your form? I know you tried, but then you realized that you were going
he
to
said,
be too slow.
where's your wings? And I thought, I changed form, I was saying that. I don't think I indicated that my patron grants me this power to do this. But I probably should convey that at some point. Because I was speaking out in Pixie, so I don't know if he thought I was one of them, or... It was a very odd scenario.
You would probably put 2 and 2 together to realize that he was thinking of the Avariel.
Oh.
Because you hadn't reduced yourself at that point. When he first talked to you.
No, I just... Yeah, I was under the impression that he thought I was a Pixie. Well, I was a Pixie in a human form, so I know Pixies can do all kinds of weird things. I don't know what, but I assume probably changing shape is probably within their wheelhouse. So I just presumed that I was just a Pixie in human or elven form. It's like, why are you in an elf form? So there was a bit of a misunderstanding.
Yeah, no, I think Lafdul would have realized that when he was asking where your wings are, he was thinking of the Avariel. He thought you were an Avariel without wings.
As I go along, I'd say I'm not from here. I'm a visitor from far, far away.
Oh, I bet you have many stories. You have to tell me. But come on. This will be fun. But keep up.
I try to keep up as fast as I can.
So, if you want to, you'll have to, walk in your normal form at least to keep up.
Yeah, I had
fly.
to dispel myself.
Yeah.
There was no way I'd keep up that speed. And I told him it'd be much faster for me to walk than it is to take that form.
Yeah, so
in terms of crude flying.
You follow the pixie into the forest. The pixie is still invisible, But there is kind of a glittering and a tinkling sound that's pretty easy for you to follow. Like he is, while he is invisible, he's making no effort to hide himself from you, so you're not having any trouble following him.
I have spells if I need to, but it would defeat the whole point of, he obviously doesn't want me around if he doesn't want me to see him.
Yeah. So you follow the pixie and through some underbrush, and it is getting kind of foggy around you, misty, as you're following.
Am I getting lost?
You're still following him.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, are there any like big landmarks around I can take a mental note of?
There's very big trees, but there's also a lot of very big trees.
And this is how Lafdul finds himself in a Ravenloft.
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
Well, it's a good thing he's an elf, otherwise he'd turn into a Stalfos.
Yeah.
So you continue to follow the pixie. After about a half an hour of travel through the mist-shrouded undergrowth, give me an intelligence check, please.
Is this fairy leading me on to make me hopelessly lost? I'm pretty sure pixies do that. Oh yeah, that's fail. By one, I believe.
Okay. So the pixie stops and says, "Shh, be quiet. They're nearby. Come." And you can see like a glittering that you think is coming off of his hands as he's like waving you to follow him, kind of thing. You know, like a come here kind of look. And he's going
Move
away.
quietly.
The mist is subsiding. So you can try to move silently?
Yeah, I'll move silently and follow him.
Okay.
You want my score? You know my score.
I don't need to know your score with that roll.
Oh. I roll 100?
That's either I rolled so obviously a failure or so obviously a success. Let you guess. So he's moving. The pixie's moving slowly, and he leads you around some trees and around some bushes, and then you stop and you can smell some wood smoke from up ahead. Not like like campfire amounts. And peeking around a tree trunk, you see ahead of you a small camp of creatures. They've got a couple campfires, cook fires. They're obviously making some dinner or lunch or something like that. You're not exactly sure what time it is right now.
Well, there's a massive canopy, I assume, as long as it's still daylight. It gets dark pretty quick in a heavy forest.
And they're talking quietly. There's about a dozen individuals. There might be more out beyond the camp location itself. But there's two different types of creatures here. There are some that are about 2 to 3 feet tall, and they look like large crows, but large humanoid crows. They have human-like arms. And then...
Have I heard of Kenku?
You've heard of Kenku. But these actually look a little bit familiar to you, these smaller ones. You have seen a couple of them before.
You mean those noisy things that we fought in that Shao place?
Wait,
yeah.
Aren't Kenku a part of the
no.
Aren't Kenku a part of the Elven Navy in this sphere?
No, Aarakocra are.
Oh, I got them confused for each other. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Both bird people.
These things deafen and stun you, if I remember correctly. Oh, what a great time for not taking silence 15 foot. Oh, I do have it, actually. That might be my saving grace.
So that's one of the two creatures here. The other one is much more humanoid in appearance, a bit taller, about 4 feet tall, and they have red faces with very long noses and wings.
Don't think I'm familiar with that one.
The pixie whispers to you, "See them? They're stick in the muds. They're no fun. Let's play some pranks on them."
Some creepy crawlies in their feet. Shoes? Did they wear shoes?
The ones that are more humanoid do. The bird ones have bird feet.
Do they look like they're relaxing? They've got like camping stuff like set aside somewhere?
You'd guess that they're like out on a hunting trip or something like that, because they definitely have weapons designed for hunting, bows, spears, things like that. And there are there's some meat roasting over the fires and stuff like that.
Animal remains about?
Oh yeah, there's animal remains. These creatures do not appear to care too much about like proper disposal, so there's just like a pile.
Oh no, I just thought it'd be hilarious if one of those bone or skull or something would suddenly start floating up or look haunted or scary or something. I'm just wondering if I can do that surreptitiously with my ring of telekinesis.
Are you invisible right now?
No, but I do have it as a granted power available.
Okay, so that's up to you.
Yeah, I will do. I will.
Okay.
Request. I will ask. I also mentioned, can the pixies still see me?
Once you're invisible?
Yeah, because I have an amulet of non-detection up as well.
So
you
disappear and you hear a bit of a squeak from the pixie, and he whispers, "I didn't know you could do that. Hey, you're like us."
Yeah, my patron grants me such lovely gifts, but I can only do this once.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, what ideas do you have? What do you want to? I can do some things too, but what do you want to? How do you want to prank them?
I wanna get one of those like things that are discarding their carcasses. I wanna animate it, make it look like they're haunted, so they get scared. Or it's like, if your food starts coming up to come back in to haunt you. I just wanna float it around, make it look haunted. So I'm gonna swap out my ring of regeneration, make myself mortal, build my ring of telekinesis. And levitates one of those. I point to him and I say, watch the carcass over there. It's going to float up. So I float it up. Ooh. So I just float it around to startle them and scare them.
So you float it right into the middle of the...
Yeah, it starts floating around the fire pit, spinning around. They seem startled or whatever.
So yeah, as soon as the first one catches sight, one of the smaller ones lets out a squawk, and all of the others quickly look and start crying out in surprise. One of the figures, the humanoid figures, pulls out a short sword blade and steps forward and slashes at it.
I'm going to try to avoid the slash. Just floats up a bit.
Yeah, your movement is very slow, so it very easily knocks it with the sword, and that wrenches it out of your control, and it goes flying. And then it immediately is starting to issue. You're pretty sure they're commands of some sort to the others, and they're beginning to look around.
I'm invisible, so I'm fine. I will try to rustle something around the tent to look like something's like messing around with the tent stuff.
Okay.
Just like poke it or prod it or make something fall over.
All right. So the shorter crow creatures are picking up spears and like thrusting at the air, thinking that maybe there's something invisible there. And beside you, the pixie giggles and says, "Oh, I think it thinks that we're over there."
I know, clever, right? So then I rustle a branch above them to make us, just give it a gentle like jig, as if something just went from branch to branch, like rustle one branch, rustle another.
All right. Some of the crow figures leap into the air, flapping up, slashing at, like, thinking that maybe there's something jumping from branch to branch or resting on them, and slashing at them. The humanoid ones down on the ground are shouting more orders, and the rest of the crow creatures are spreading out and beginning to move through the forest, like sticking
Can I attempt
their...
to lure them away?
Sure.
Lure them away from the camp by, just making noises like further and further away.
Mhm.
As if I was trying to disappear or lead them away. So I lead them away from the camp, and I'm going to say to the pixie friend, "Here's some salt. Do you think we should sneak into test some food? We'll make it really, really salty."
I don't know. They haven't all left. So
I'll
they're
lure them away.
right. They're thrusting, like they're thrusting the spears around, like up until you started doing that. They had spread out and were thrusting their spears into the bushes and everything like that. Just in case there's something hiding in the bushes. And the as you try to lead them away, keep in mind that, like, given the dense foliage and stuff like that, there's a limit to how far you can see. You'd have to reposition as you're trying to make it look like something is moving away.
No, I can move silently.
Okay. So you're going to try to move over to get a better vantage point and move the...
circle around.
Okay.
Might take a little bit of time, but I am being cautious on that.
So a bunch of the crow figures start chasing after the movements that you're making.
Luring them away from the camp to give the pixie a moment.
But then one of the humanoid figures gives a shout, and they all stop and turn back to look. And the humanoid one looks around, like, everything, and starts speaking again to the others, and they all come back, and they're all, like, looking out at the into the forest, while clearly listening to these two talking to them, giving them directions. Mm-hmm.
Do I know if using my granted power to do something funny, my granted power of knock, to make him lose his draws or something, would that count as a hostile act?
No, it wouldn't.
Alright, so I could do that while he's having a very serious conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd make him lose his draws to embarrass him or something.
He's wearing more of a robe than pants. But you could, like, he does have a sash that's tied, so you can untie that with knock.
Is that... Yeah.
It would certainly cause it to open.
Yeah, I'll do that, yeah. I'll see if I can surprise him. I'll look for something, that seems appropriate. You know where I'm going with this.
Alright.
So that's all my granted powers at this point now.
All right. So as it's talking, and, like, you're picking up that it's like giving instructions and stuff like that. Like, you can't you have no idea what's being said, but, like, you can pick up from tone and how creatures are reacting and stuff like that. and you knock his sash open, which causes the robe to open, and he's completely naked under there. So causes all of the others to start laughing in a very bird-like squawking manner. And this red-faced figure, you didn't know it, but it could get redder. With a mixture of, you're pretty sure, anger and embarrassment. It quickly ties its robe closed again and shouts really loudly at the others. And there's like this weight to this shout. Give me a wisdom check.
I'm just having too much fun.
All right, give me a second.
Oh, is this like an effect or like a stunning effect that I may have experienced once before?
Give me a second.
Also, how's the pixie taking this?
Oh, he's been giggling next to you very quietly.
Shame I don't have telepathy.
Give me a saving throw versus spell, please.
Same progress spell. What's my score? Mind affecting?
No.
No. That would be an 11. I pass.
Okay.
Where's the spell? Sorry, what was it?
Yeah, saving throw versus spell.
Yes.
All right, you take 1 point of damage as the force of this shout just kind of rolls over you and all of the other individuals, and that right there makes you realize that was a magical effect, not a spell, but a magical effect, like a power that the thing has.
Mm-hmm.
And
how's pixie? Is a pixie alright?
Yeah, pixie's fine.
Is it used to it or?
You're not sure. It is invisible, so.
Yeah. I whispered to him, oh, he looks angry.
I know. That was great. Can you do it again?
No, I can't do that one again. We have to start being narrative.
Oh, that's too bad. That was great, though. I think he's very angry. So at that, he's the individual starting to point in different directions. Some of the crow figures are like reeling from the force of this this loud blast. Others are beginning to spread out in kind of a circular manner and poke at bushes and around trees and stuff like that. So some of them are now coming towards you.
I'll just. Do I know if casting a spell, if they're not in the area, it's not considered a hostile act towards them, right?
Depends on what the spell is.
Oh, allergy field. I was just going to cast it once they're away from their camp and just leave it there. If I cast it away from them, it shouldn't be on them. It shouldn't be directly hostile to them.
So the two humanoid figures are staying in the middle, in the camp. So they'd be in the area of effect.
How many of them?
I
thought there was only 3.
There's
more than
two.
3.
There's 2 of the humanoid ones, and then there's almost a dozen of the smaller ones.
Oh, that's quite a few.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
10 yards a level. I got 90 yards. I'm just trying to think of the range. 90, what was that, times 3 in foot? 90, I'll cast it in...
What's the area of effect of it?
5-foot cube, a level. I want to cast it like
Like, you could cast it on the other side of the... so that it's not in the, like... so that some of the other crow figures will enter the allergy field.
Yeah. Because once they are affected by it, they basically have allergies for a while.
Now, keep in mind that even though you're invisible, you are going to be standing there chanting that spell. Like,
that's why I want to go as far away as I can.
okay.
Because I got quite a long range on the spell. I got like 90 feet.
Yeah, but you're also in a dense forest.
You have to see where you are casting it.
Yeah, you have to see where you're casting it.
Can I cast it up in a tree? Can I climb a tree? I'm a rogue.
You can climb a tree, yeah.
Yeah, I'll climb a big tall tree.
Okay, it'll be fairly obvious as you're...
Oh, well, that...
Yeah, I mean, because you're going to be causing the branches to move and
yeah, alright.
everything like that. I mean, you can do it, and you can try to position yourself in such a way... like, I mean, if you want to use your hide and shadows to try to position yourself in a way that they won't see, then you might succeed.
I mean, I got potions of invisibility if I need to. Yeah. I'll risk it for a biscuit. I will attempt to hide in shadows as far away as I can and try to give myself as much of an advantageous position as I can. I'm going to cast it directly in the middle of their camp.
All right,
so it probably will break my thing.
Give me a climb walls.
Oh, wait, I wasn't climbing a tree. Oh, do I need to climb a tree?
Oh, I thought you wanted to hide in shadows and then climb the tree so that you're not being, like, as obviously heard.
No, I want to stand further away. As far away as I can and hide because I know my invisibility most likely will break. And cast an allergy field in the middle of their camp.
Okay.
I'm hoping I'm going to be far enough away.
Okay.
I will tell the pixie this is a skill time. I might have to. I will have a potion of invisibility ready.
All right.
I will have it out of my offhand.
Okay, so you position yourself as well hidden as you can be, and try your best to conceal your casting, and cast the allergy field right in the middle of the camp. And what are the effects of allergy field?
Essentially, they got a save versus spell, or they start sneezing, coughing, allergies. It gives them a -1 to their attacks. I need to look up for more specifics than that. You have to bear with me now.
Okay.
The great thing about allergy field is the first spell in the pre-spell ability. At least I think it's one of the first.
No, I think a day in the life is first.
All-seeing crystal ball. Yeah, outcome lance. Alright. This spell can be cast in any field, meadow, forest, or any outdoor area, blah blah blah. A creature failing its save experiences swells in the eye, fits of sneezing, and dull headache for the next 1d4 turns. All attack rolls and ability checks in this time suffers a -1 penalty. And it's 5 cubic feet per level of caster. So 45-foot cube.
Oh, you're going to get a lot of the smaller ones too, then.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you cast that and give me a wisdom check, please. A wisdom check, please.
I was muted. I've rolled, but it's saying rolling the dice and it's pending.
Oh, okay. All right.
2.
All right. You're pretty sure they did not. That none of them noticed you casting that spell. So the allergy field springs up. The center of the camp fills with pollen, and one of the...
It doesn't say it's visible, but yeah.
It's going to be at least somewhat visible.
Causes plants to produce pollen
yeah.
allergies. Yeah, so stuff.
It's like, on a very bad pollen day, it can be pretty obvious.
Easy.
So
I
the
assume
two
I'm visible.
individuals. Yeah, your invisibility is canceled. The two individuals in the center of the camp, as well as some of the others, just a handful of the others, begin coughing and sneezing. One of the humanoids doesn't seem as badly affected, but the one who was giving the orders in particular, he is coughing and sneezing. And the other crow creatures are turning back to look at him and to see what's going on. The second one, who is not as badly affected, pulls out what appears to be like a fan made of feathers. Like,
It's gonna blow it away.
spreads them all out and starts waving it, and it does start to blow it away. Unfortunately, it's blowing it in a specific direction, and
It's not
that
blowing it
affects
towards us, then.
some more of the individuals. Let me actually double check to see if it's in your direction. No, it's not in your direction.
Yay.
And they're all like scrambling and calling out and arguing amongst themselves and stuff like that. And the pixie by your side is just giggling uncontrollably and says,
Don't wanna
That
push our
was
luck too
that
much.
was great, but we should go for now. We don't
Yeah,
want
alright.
them to get too angry. Let's go.
and he starts.
Do I think I sneak away, or do I think?
Yeah,
I
they're
use
they're
my
they're in
potion?
so much confusion that
Alright, now I'll sneak away.
you can sneak away easily. So the pixie leads you some distance away, and the mist is coming up around you again. And after about a half an hour of travel, you find yourself in a small glade. The ground has dipped down a bit. There's a very small spring trickling out, and there's a different sense to this little glade that you're in. It feels almost tingly, like almost like you can palpably feel magic.
Does it feel like something that'd be sacred to another faith?
No.
Or,
No,
alright.
it does not feel religiously sacred in any way.
Might just be an after effect of them.
But you do hear some more voices, and some more voices.
That was great. Wow, you made them all sneezy and everything. That was so funny.
As
It
more
was
pixies
great
are coming
Oh.
out of the woodwork, and you realize that
I
you're
ha-
basically in like a pixie village.
Oh, there was a whole entourage that was watching this.
Yeah, that was great. Can we do
Oh,
that again
my-
tomorrow?
We can do all sorts of different things. My patron is a very fun prankster. He loves playing pranks on people, you know.
We should go back and play more pranks on them tomorrow. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah. If they're still about.
Yeah, they've been there for a few weeks now.
Oh, do you know what they're doing? They're doing bad things. Or
I think they're just hunting.
They seem a bit reckless with the hunting. My friend would not approve of their methods, but, you know, as long as they eat the feed, I suppose. But
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why we like to play pranks on them. They're not very nice.
no? Should we scare them off?
We could do that, but I think it's more fun to just play pranks on them until they get fed up and leave.
True.
So it is definitely getting dark now. The sun is definitely setting.
Alright, well, I'll say, considering I never went back to the camp, I assume I'm staying here. So I ask if I'd be allowed to stay in the village, and some stories to share from the other pixies I've met from far a long way away place. Wow, words failing me.
Yeah, we'd love stories. Tell us all the stories.
And you can the pixies start bringing out small cups of mead and wine. The portions are small for you, but they give you enough to get you to full portions, as well as a whole host of nuts and fruits, dried fruit and undried fruit, and just delicious tubers and vegetables and things of that nature. And you like stay up late into the night, drinking this absolutely delicious wine and mead.
Oh, no. I am very grateful for them. I say, what? This is very wonderful. I am humbled by your offering. Well, what do you call it when you hospitality? That's the word.
Oh, you're fun. We really like you. You're very
I
welcome
hope
to.
so.
You're very welcome to anything we have to offer.
And they're just like continuing to give you more and more food and drink if you're taking it.
Yeah.
They won't
Could
push it
I-
on you if you're like, no, I've had enough or
No,
something like that.
I'll indulge a little bit, probably a bit too much, but they'll probably have fun with me. I'll tell them stories that probably embarrass myself in the crowd when the crocodile being spun around and dying. Just humility, just unbound. It probably make me feel better.
Yeah,
because I talk about adventures, and I talk about my patron and the reason why I'm out here. I mean, I'm out here to have fun, but could I trouble you for a small pinch of...
you would probably realize
dirt?
etiquette wise, you should wait until the end. Wait
All
until
right,
you're
sorry,
like leaving.
I didn't know. When you said offer it, that's why I was a bit confused. All right, no, that's fine. I can change out my spells on. Wow.
So you talk and laugh and drink and eat well into the night.
Do they?
They have stories
worship?
to tell you as well. They have songs. They don't. Their worship is very organic. They believe in their deities, but they don't actively worship their deities very much.
No, that's fine. I was just wondering if there's like familiar notes of like the Celic or anything like that.
Oh, I mean, they're like all of this is familiar to you as an elf because of the similarities between elven life and fairy life, pixie and sprite life. But you eat and drink well into the night. You wake up the next morning with a bit of a hangover, but that won't prevent you from swapping out your spells. And I'll go ahead and give you time to do that because it's about time for us to take our break.
Yeah.
So we will be back in about 10 minutes, everyone. Good time to get something to drink or eat. And we will see you shortly.
See you then.